All right, so listen close because this video is actually deeply sentimental because I'm going to be revealing a lot of real life secrets to you that I've never revealed before. I'm also going to be telling you some inside stories about my own life that I don't share often. And because of that, I truly believe that this video can help you on the deepest level. So this is why women are always most loyal to the men who cheat frequently or have the ability to cheat frequently. Okay, on top of that, we just crossed over 1,800 guys inside of our community. I'm helping these guys learn, understand, and master the language of women. And on top of that, I just added a brand new series in our community. And I actually call these episodes inside of that the book of Casey's life. So I reveal to you how I built my entire life. I actually show you this inside of our community. So with that said, you should definitely join us inside of that. I do believe that you'll love it. Now let's dive in. So listen very closely, okay? This is why women are always the most loyal to men who cheat frequently. In my life, okay, from ages about 18 to now 28, I'll be 29 in April. In my life, anytime I've ever had a rotation of different women that I'm seeing through the weeks or through the month, okay? What would happen is girls would always sit by me when we are on the couch or when we are at the kitchen table or whatever. They would sit by me and they would actively show me all of the men in their phone that they ignore. This is what they would do anytime they knew that I had multiple options that I was potentially entertaining, or anytime that I had multiple options of different women who I'm just seeing through the weeks or going out on dates or whatever. And a lot of times the more attractive these women were, the more it would actually raise the other women's attraction. So here's what would happen. They would just sit by me and they would constantly try to prove their loyalty. This is what the women would do. They would prove extreme loyalty. They would do lots of nice things for me outside of the bedroom. They would try to be sweet at all times. You'll notice they never really try to raise their voice or be mean to you. And the reason is because the competition anxiety fueled their respect level for me. This is what would happen. The competition anxiety of knowing that there's other women who could potentially have access to this man raises her respect level. Okay? This is all perceived status. Okay? So, this is what I'm trying to tell you. This gave them certainty that they are with a winner. This right here, other women desiring me in this situation, gave them the certainty that they are with a winner. Not a guy's bank balance, not a guy's muscle mass, and not a guy's status. Other women. Other women is what does it. Having other women or access to potentially other options is what does it. Okay? So, let me go even more in depth because I used to be not very smart. I would have to make the same mistake a bunch of times over. To this day, I still make mistakes from time to time, and then I write it down in my notebook and I learn what not to do. And since I'm such a slow learner, I have to typically make the same mistake 5, 10, 20 times over before I finally go, oh my gosh, okay, I get it. So, here's what I can tell you. The mistakes that the younger me would make. When I was younger, this is the mistakes that I would make. I would assume that since she is trying to prove loyalty, I would assume that that means that she likes me. I would assume that that means she loves me as a person. And I would assume that my attraction level that she has of me in her mind is fixed and will never change. Okay, this is what I thought. I didn't understand that a woman's attraction level for you can go up or down based on circumstance, because typically my attraction doesn't really work like that. If I find a woman amazing, attractive, beautiful, it's not the same, right? So I would assume that my attraction level she has of me in her mind is fixed and will never change. So here's what happened. I would commit. I would commit to a long-term relationship. I would say, yes, me and you are a couple. This is what I would do. I would commit to a long-term relationship. And I would see one woman for an extensive period of time. Months or even years in a row. Okay? And then here's what would happen. I'd commit, so I'd now see her more. I would see her more frequently. I would see others less. Okay? Because now I'm with her. And I would give her all of the good morning text messages and all of the I love you text messages. And I've done every single mistake that you can possibly think of. I've literally done all of them. And what would happen time and time again is I would be brutally punished. I would be brutally punished, and I would sit back and I would think, well, something happened with this woman where she's different from all of the others in this circumstance, and there was some type of communication to where I must have messed something up, and then the whole thing dissolved. Okay, so the problem that I would run into is I would associate a name of an individual with the circumstance in my dating life that just happened, instead of just understanding that this is female nature as a whole. Okay? So I would associate the behavioral patterns and the relationship status of how things went south, how things started to dissolve. I would associate that with an individual. Like I would associate those behaviors with the one woman that I was dating. And then when the whole relationship would dissolve, I would be a bit confused because I didn't understand that it was female nature completely. Okay, so I'd be brutally punished. I'd feel bitter and jaded, just really bitter, sad, right? But this is the biggest emotion that I felt out of all of them. The biggest emotion that I felt out of all of the emotions that I could possibly feel is I would constantly feel confused. This is the one that drove me to constantly try to figure more things out. Is I would be confused. I would be laying in bed at night and I'm trying to analyze certain conversations and certain text messages, and I'm sitting there confused because I don't understand what just happened. And that's the part that would make me most frustrated, is because when you're confused, there's unknowns. Okay? Like, let's say you go to the gym and you try a new bench press, okay? And you do the bench press and you fail. Well, you're not very confused because you just understand that you're not strong enough. So it's something that you can easily identify. With a relationship with a woman, a lot of times it can leave you very confused. So this is the strongest emotion that I would constantly feel out of all of them, on top of sadness, is confusion. Like, what just happened? How is it that in the beginning she liked me so much? She appeared like she loved me. She would always try to kiss me. She would always try to snuggle with me. And then what happened? Like, I'm the same person, is what I tell myself. I am the same person. My vocal tone is the same. I look the same. I wear the same clothes. Like, what changed? I would be so confused, okay? So then I'd finally, with time and with countless mistakes, we're talking so many mistakes, I would start to see that women do not actually want you to love them. This is what I would see. I would see that women don't actually want you to love them. She only loves your perceived SMV in her eyes. She only loves your perceived status and your perceived SMV in her eyes. This is what she loves. And the funniest part about this is flexible. This is not fixed. So I'm going to say this one more time. She only loves your perceived status in her eyes, or your perceived SMV in her eyes, which is flexible, not fixed. Okay? So then there was a lot of pain involved, because I'd have to make the same mistake 10 times over, sometimes even 20 times over, before I would actually see the pattern recognition and the pattern repetition of what went on, of what's happening. It would take me that many failures. You have no idea how many hot women I've lost over the years in relationships not knowing this. You have no idea. To this day, it still is like, wow. You know, and I'm only 28 and I have a lot of time to reflect with all of these presentations. But I would have to make the same mistake so many times over before I would actually see the pattern recognition of what's going on. So, like I said, I have lost more hot women in my life than anybody I know, okay? Which is why I can give you these presentations. This is what you have to know, okay? So now, moving on to this side of the marker board. What women actually want and naturally do, okay, is they want to deceive you into thinking that unconditional love actually exists and that she will always be by your side. This is what she wants you to think. And I don't even think that this is like a conscious decision that she's making. I think that this is happening subconsciously, okay? And this is completely wrong, okay? When you trust her words of saying, I love you so much, or anything like that, you have to know that what she means is right now and in this moment. And since her attraction for you is flexible, not fixed. It can change at any moment too. Okay, so that's why it's better to spend majority of your time investing into yourself, building your own status and your own attractiveness, because that's really the only thing that you have actual control over is your own life. Okay, so when she tries to convince you that, you know, she loves you or whatever the case may be, this is completely wrong. And this is why I always love to use the story of Adam and Eve, because Eve started deceiving Adam right away. Okay, so when she says, hey, you know, have this apple too. Okay, you can trust me. And he said, okay. He followed the words. He trusted. This is what happens with guys in relationships is they trust. You trusted her that she wouldn't exit or she wouldn't leave you. And then you're going to be left very confused because you're sitting there looking at another human being and you say, well, how could this even happen? Look at all the time we spend together. Why would you want to do this to me? Okay? And then you're going to notice that female nature doesn't operate on the same level of relationship step-by-step processes that your mind probably tells you it should. Okay? That's what I'll say. So instead of saying, okay, and yes, I love you too, you need to start to learn how to say, no, okay, I don't necessarily fully trust that, and you are the leader as the man, okay? This is what you have to know. So for everything that you believe, okay, that she tells you, she sees that she can constantly outsmart you. So every single thing that you believe, okay, that she told you, that ended up not being true, what she sees is she can easily deceive you and she can constantly outsmart you, which makes her trust your judgment and your leadership less. Okay? So you might be wondering, well, what does she love? What does she actually love? Well, I'll tell you. She loves that you have social proof with other women. Okay? When you say, well, what does she actually love? She loves that you have social proof with other women. She actually loves that you ignore her. She loves that you don't need her. She loves that you have access to other women at or above her current level of attractiveness. And she loves that you don't commit. That is what she loves. But she doesn't love you. Okay? She doesn't love you, and you need to always remember that. That at all times, her hypergamy is watching. And she's watching how you move and how you act and how you operate. And despite this title, why women are always most loyal to the men who will cheat frequently, despite this title potentially being a bit, shocking to hear, through my own life experience, by telling you this and reflecting on my journey, I think that there's a strong probability that there's a lot of accuracy that you probably have the same dating life or circumstances that have happened as well. This is why I want you to hit the like button, comment and subscribe. Join us inside of that community to learn, understand, and master the language of women, and we'll see you in the next one.